What's up guys, welcome to the fifth video on this channel. Today we are going to add the coins gathering system and make some sounds inside the game. So let's get started. So we would have two sounds, one for when we collect a coin, meaning that when we have a collision with a coin, and another for when we jump. So let's just define them inside the init function that we have here. I will define self.collect coin sound and and I will use arcade.load sound, as you can see, to get our sound. Since we're using a resource, an arcade resource, I'm gonna just copy this address here. We're good to go. Next one will be our self.jump sound. So let's load that as well. Let me copy that as well. Okay, we are good to go. Now we have to define the coins and place them inside our map. So as you can see, we have defined the coin list in our setup and we have initialized it with a sprite list. So the next step is to add our coins. So I will be using a for loop for that. So for x in range, let's say 1 to 8, and 50 plus 2, 5, 6. I will be defining a coin and I will be using a arcade sprite. Let's use a resource and let's use the scaling constant we defined earlier. Now let's set the position for the coin. We use center X and Y. We set center X to X. And we set center Y. Center Y to 96. Okay. And let's finally add it to the coin list we defined. Coin list that append coin. Okay, now that we have defined the coin, we need to make sure we are drawing it as well. Let's just check the onDraw function. And as you can see, we have defined it here and we will be calling draw to draw the coins that we defined. Let's now define the jump sound. For the jump sound, all we need to do is to call an arcade function here, which is play sound. And let's just set it to jump sound that we just defined and set up. Okay. All right. Next thing to do is to create the collision detection for the coins. So when the player closes to the coin and touches it, we can grab it and remove it from the coin list and play a simple sound for the player to understand that he have grabbed the coin. So we need to define this inside our onUpdate. So here on each update, we will check whether any coin has been hit with the player and any collision happened with the coins. So for that, we will be using another arcade function here called check for collision with list. Let's define that. Check for collision with list, which we can add a list here. So we want to check if the player sprite have hit any coins. So we will be adding the coin list here as well. So this function checks if the player has hit any of these coins here, and it will present them in this list that we define here, coin hit list. Now we need to set a for loop to see in case any coin has been hit and is included in this hit list. We remove it from the coin list here, and we will play a sound for the user. So let's use a for loop for coin in coin hit list. We will remove it first, and we will be playing a sound here as we defined earlier. Collect coin sound. Okay. Just before we run the experiment to see our changes, I would like to display the user score as well inside our window. So I will be using another variable here. Let's just define it. Self.score. We will initialize it to 0. Okay. Let's again do the same here in the setup just to be clear. All right. So the next thing is to show the score on draw. So let's find the onDraw function here. All right, so anything you want to draw on the window, you need to define it here and draw it here. So let's define the score text here, and let's say score, and let's play self.score. Okay. Now that we defined the text, we can use arcade.drawtext, which you can use to draw any kind of text here. Different parameters you can define as well. Let's pass the variable we just defined, and let's set the position x, 10 plus self.view left, and 10 plus self.view bottom. And the next thing to do is to pass the color, which we will be using arcade.css color. Let me see. Yeah. Say white, and let's add the font size, which we will be set to 18. The last thing we want to do here is to increment the score as we hit a coin in the list. So right here that we just defined the hit list, we just increment the score. And we are good to go. Let's run the game and see our changes. Python main.py. Okay. As you can see, now we have our jump sound. We will be detecting the collision and playing that sound on each encounter with a coin. We are displaying the score right here, as you can see, in the bottom corner, and everything is working perfectly as we have defined. One thing I think I should mention here is that the hitbox on each of these sprites actually calculates the white spaces as well. So you need to, edit and crop those spaces as well in your in a graphic interface. So we will be doing that as well in the next episode. We will be using a map editor, and we will be editing some of the game objects that we will be using in the game. So I'll see you in the next episode.